LA police apparently trying to break up a huge fight. What kind of riots are these? These are hateful people that are mad that the Glendale Unified School District school board was voting. They were voting whether or not they're gonna recognize June as Pride Month. So of course you should be fighting because that's a good way to get your point across and fight with folks who actually support humans being the humans that they are. So among this violence, though, a pro-LGBTQ religious clergyman was also pepper sprayed by these agitators. They're very upset about, again, a vote in the United States of America. Let's watch.
For you to be out here today, risking life and limb,
The violence continues. The police, as you saw, were in the middle of it, so they tried to shove a little bit. There's more video here. Shove a little bit of these agitators, the angry, violent protesters here, from some of the folks who were in support of such a vote. Let's check out how they pulled that whole thing out, because they eventually circled the folks that were trying to be there. Let's watch.
Which means to break up this assembly and to leave the area. If you do not do so, you may be arrested or subject to other law enforcement action.
Talk to your boys, man. Do me a favor. We're trying to de-escalate things. We're trying to help you guys out. This is your community, right? Said to go on the side. What they said. You're going northbound. The cop just said to go on the side. Sure. But here's the public sidewalk. It's a public sidewalk. Hey, man, it's a public sidewalk.
The madness is going off here, Sharon. And again, I want to remind everybody, this is over a school board in Glendale, whether or not they're gonna vote on recognizing June as Pride Month. June, the month that damn near everybody's out of school anyway, number one. And number two, whoever they're looking to protect by not having the school recognize Pride Month is harming which children, which by the way, all these children know what the hell Pride Month is. So the recognition of it, I'm not sure what it really does, but the violence is definitely there, Sharon.
The violence is just horrific. These parents who just wanted their kids to have a piece of something, and as you pointed out, yep. And I don't know, maybe in California, you'd know better than I, kids go to school more year round than in other places. That's what I was always told, correct me if I'm wrong. But at the end of the day, I felt that the police response was completely inept here. Maybe there are no protests like this in California because they didn't seem to know how to handle it. And they threw up their hands and they basically, it seemed to me from where I sat, were good people on both sides and let's just figure this out and just everybody go home. And that's not the way you want to handle this. It's not the way you want to handle it. One side perhaps had a permit, one side didn't, I don't know. But it just seemed to be completely, wholly inept, the response from the police.
Maybe they weren't prepared for this. Maybe they didn't think this would happen. Or I mean, I'm sure the protesters that came through didn't do it all that silently in order for them to gather the way that they did. But you mentioned parents and school. There's some aspects of that though. Let's get past that first graphic though. You guys go to graphic 3 here, because it was suspected that some of these folks that came out weren't necessarily concerned about children, their children for sure, but definitely not children in the Glendale Unified School District, because some local journalists noticed that many of these anti-protesters weren't from the area. Let's check that out, because Eve points out, hey, LA Times, please report the fact that these chuds are not parents at the school and bust themselves in from out of town because they don't even know what district they're in. Signed, a proud alum of Glendale Unified School District. Apparently they're the Falcons as well. So they're pointing out some of these folks that are there that probably have no idea what the area is like or what it is because they're not from here. That's just one account. Here's another one. It's being reported elsewhere that most of these protesters aren't from Glendale. Many don't even have kids. In fact, there are who's who of traveling fascists who mob up and attack people in various cities throughout California and Oregon, again, pointing out what is this going on, because we know some of these folks that try and collect and come to these school board meetings, they find themselves in certain regions and keep pushing the same nonsense to everyone around them, because it's not about children. It's not about any of this other stuff. It's about trying to generate more violence and anger and coalition of people. Maybe they can get a job or something. I know they say this about other folks. Lastly, though, Lois Beckett also tweeted, and local journalists who have been covering the far right in Los Angeles for years are reporting that many familiar far right activists, people who are not Glendale parents, were at the volatile protest outside of a Glendale school board meeting tonight, as things again were calming down there. Not much of a surprise to me, Sharon, but this is the way that these folks approach these things. This is what they're about. And really, the principles just aren't there as they're shouting how they're doing this for the children when they ain't even got any children.
No children, and I'm waiting for, is anybody gonna blame Antifa? Don't we hear? Is Antifa gonna be blamed next? It's really pathetic, but you said get a job. This is their job. It is a full-time job, and they are paid perhaps going from city to city, town to town. And yes, school board meeting to school board meeting to push this agenda to sow division. They don't even care about the issue. They really care less about the issue. It's just about sowing division.
That's what the work is looking to do now, sowing division, and they've gotten their way. But then again, which rules are being changed? Is this gonna make the folks vote differently in that school board? They don't care. The whole point here is to intimidate. This is why many times these groups, they've been deemed the biggest homegrown domestic terrorism groups in our country. That's what they do. So yeah, you're right. I was wrong. This is their job. And many of these organizations are funded by folks who want to see this continue while they rob everyone else blind, because they're over here fighting over whether or not we recognize Pride Month. Hey, head over to West Hollywood and see how much Pride is being recognized. I think you're losing that battle.